Hello, my nature-loving friends. My name is Jackie, and today I want to talk to you about worms. I have worms. I've had worms for about 5 years now, and they're not the bad kind of worms that are the ick. These are the good worms. These are red wiggler worms, and this is my worm bin here. So I've been composting way back when I lived in Victoria in a condo, doing the vermicomposting system with red wiggler worms just in this Rubbermaid container. So I have actually been neglecting these worms for, I kind of want to say like 5 weeks maybe or more. And I haven't opened this bin yet. So we're going to see what it's like, because what I want to do today is I want to make some worm tea. I'm going to teach you guys how to make some worm compost tea, the aerated kind and the quick version. We're going to make a new worm bed. We're going to check the health of these and see if my neglect has been okay, because I feel like this might not be good. Maybe this video is going to be how to kill your worms, because they might be all dead in here. We shall see. For today, if you are wanting to make your own worm bin, you're going to need a Rubbermaid container. You'll need a drill to drill some air holes in here. It helps to have some little screens to cover those, because they will come out of those holes. Newspaper, I've got some leaf mulch, I've got some coco coir as well, also pretty helpful. You don't need this. You could definitely go the cheap way and just do paper or leaves, and that would be fine too. That's basically what you need to get started to create a worm bin. So let's take a look inside this bin and see what exactly is going on with these worms. Okay, so as I said, I haven't been in here in a while. I haven't fed them. They're probably starving. Oh, let's take a look. Okay, so actually, yeah, not too bad. They're definitely hungry, because you can tell their worm castings. They've been eating through more of the paper, because it has kind of more of a papery look. Hello, little wormy. Come see your friends. Don't be camera shy. These are red wigglers. They are different than your regular earthworms. These guys eat even more than earthworms do. They are like voracious eaters. They eat a lot. They are very, very hungry, and they have their like worm poop. Their castings are extremely highly nutritious. They are amazing for your soil, amazing for your plants. These guys are definitely ready for a new home. So let's make that new home for them now. So to separate these worms from the worm castings, I'm actually going to torture them a little bit. Not really torture, but they don't like sunlight. So if you create like a mound, and you want to pull out any of the food scraps as well, but if you create like a mound like this of their worm castings, they're going to gravitate down to the bottom, and then you can just pull those worm castings off and hopefully save the worms and not have a bunch of the worms in your castings. Because this is the hard part, is when you're trying to make a new bed, you have to separate all the worms out from the worm castings. They don't like light, so they will go to the bottom here. It's a good thing about this bin, even though I was kind of starving them, it wasn't too wet. So it wasn't too wet. There's no smells or anything. So I mean, it wasn't there's nothing rancid in here. There's no excess liquid. So actually I had that right in the combination of bedding, because you don't want it to be too wet that then you drown them. It can't be too dry either, because they don't like that either. So my worm bin is pretty much empty. I've got a little bit in here. That is fine. I'm gonna let them move down. I'll put them even further into the sun maybe. So if you are starting with a brand new bin, you do need to make some holes in your bin for air, because they need that air, and then cover them up with screen. I just used, it's not super pretty. I found that putting it on the outside actually worked, because it like sweats on the inside, so then they were coming off. So yeah, it doesn't look as nice but than if it would be on the inside, but then it stays on a little bit better. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna shred some newspaper. That's what I have. I'm trying to use a mix of materials. If you want to do this super cheap, then yeah, that's what you gotta use. So this is their bedding. I'm going to mix it with leaves. You can also put leaves in. You can do a variety what I'm going to do today. You don't have to do, you could do just straight paper if you want. I find it's a little bit healthier though if I put in some of their natural habitat, like the leaves. But if you don't have leaves, newspaper is fine too. My bins that I had in Victoria for like 3 years were just straight newspaper and some coco coir as well. The coco coir, even though it is an extra like expense, it actually helps absorb the excess moisture, because again, you don't want a bin to be too wet. And there's like some systems that people will do like a double bin, like they'll put holes in the bottom too so the excess liquid can drain out. But I find that like it's never really too wet. Like if you were just adding more bedding and more newspaper to absorb the excess moisture, then you'll never have like a bed that's like too wet. You do need to be a little bit mindful of that, because that would be a sign. If it's too moist in there, that's a sign of an unhealthy bed. So the brown is your carbon source, which you need to have a mix of the carbon in there as their bedding. And again, they will eat it. So that is all I have for newspapers. So that's why I need to add some extra carbon material in here. So I just grabbed a bucket of leaves. So I'm just gonna try to crunch it a little bit up as I add it in. Because I do have coco coir, I'm going to add some of this coco coir in. Now this stuff is like great to absorb the excess moisture. I've had many beds that I've made for these worms that have not included this, because I just recently found this again at a decent price, because sometimes I find these bricks are expensive, because you know they are imported from, like, coconuts don't grow here, so they're imported from other places. Could definitely do all newspaper, definitely just do all leaves. I'm gonna add a mix of everything in, because I feel like I want to give my little worms the best home possible, because I've been neglecting them for so long. All right, so I've got enough brown carbon material in here to fill, you know, up to like this line here. And it will pack down as soon as I add water into it. If you're not adding any kind of sand in and you're just doing paper, they need something gritty in there to like help them digest their foods. So you can put in crushed eggshells. Now these should maybe be crushed up a little bit more, but these are what's going to help them digest their food. They need that little bit of grit. So I'm actually going to add just a handful of my soil as well, because it's super sandy, to make sure that I'm giving them what they need to be able to digest all the food that I am giving them. So now what we need to do is add some water. If you're using your tap water, like if you're in a condo, make sure your tap water has been sitting out for a while to get rid of all that excess chlorine, because they don't like that. Microbes don't like chlorine. We want this to be nice, happy bin. So if you have rainwater, use rainwater. This is unfiltered well water that I'm using right now. So after I've added my water, this is what this bin looks like. It is compressed down quite a bit, which is totally fine. I think this is going to be enough for them. You want it to be wet enough that it's all like that you can see the moisture in the water, but not that it's like you can squeeze out too much. I will check on this the next couple days, make sure it's not too dry or too wet, and add more water if needed, or add more brown material. All right, now that our worm bin is all set up and they've got their little house ready, so you're gonna pick just one side of the bin to start feeding them in. So what I'm feeding them today is what I had in my compost. I have an old apple core from the apple I ate yesterday. I've got some watermelon rinds. So you want to cut it up. If it, like, my watermelon pieces were quite big, so I cut up my watermelon rinds, and then I also cut up some of my avocado skins too. They love the actual avocado, and like banana peels are kind of like their jam when you dig in and you can see that they're just all over those banana peels. So that's a really good thing to get feeding them. You don't want to feed them any dairy or meat or cooked food or pastries, bread, any of that stuff. Raw fruits and vegetables is what they like the best. They're not huge fans of garlic or onions either. I mean, I've thrown a little bit in here and it's been fine, but I wouldn't throw in like lots. They don't like those apparently. And same with citrus. Too much citrus can also, like, I don't know, they don't like citrus. So don't put your lemons or your limes or your oranges. Again, I've thrown little bits in here and there, but I wouldn't overstack my bin with those types of foods, because they apparently don't like them. I don't know who asks these worms and what they like and what they don't like, but they seem to eat most of my fruits and vegetables that I throw in here. So let's go check out those worms and see what's going on with them. So as you can see, they've all wormed their way down. Oh, not all of them. They're supposed to all be down there. But now what I can do is just start to take off the top layer and then let them go down again. And that's how you can harvest the castings, because the castings we're going to make into a tea, we're going to put into the garden. We're going to make an aerated version and a quick version, and then I'm also going to put the castings into the garden. Okay, it is tea time. So we're going to make two methods of worm tea today. The first one is just the really quick version, which is just a bucket of water, our worm castings, and letting them soak for like not quite 24 hours, but like 12 hours, maybe 24. Any longer than that and the microbes are actually going to die, because we're not aerating this one. We're just throwing the worm castings in, letting them soak into the water there, and then we're going to throw it onto our plants. So you can just use these straight into the garden and just add them in as is, which I'm also going to do. But the reason that we make a tea out of them is you're kind of like extending them, like you're making them last longer, go further. So that's the quick and easy way of making the quick version of compost tea. The second version of compost tea is, again, worm castings, and then you're going to add a sugar source. So a sugar source is what's going to feed the microbes to help them multiply. So I'm going to use blackstrap molasses. You could use just straight sugar, and then you want an aeration source. So this is just a little aquarium pump. I'm going to add maybe a handful of worm castings, and you can dip them. You can use a little, like, reuse a pantyhose to put it in and make an actual tea bag out of it, or you can just add it in as is. I do like to make sure there's not clumps in the bottom, so kind of dissolve with your hands a little bit to get that in there. So for your sugar source, I'm just gonna add like about, I don't know, an ounce, like a shot glass worth, a couple tablespoons. Again, just kind of freestyling it. And then I'm going to add this pump in there. Now, you could use your stir stick, make sure that molasses is not on the bottom, which I'm going to just use my hand, because you know what, it's already dirty, so may as well. So I can feel that molasses on the bottom, and I'm just going to stir it all up so that it is more dissolved in there. Now I'm going to add my pump into the bottom. So these has little suction cups that can sit on the bottom or the side, and then you're going to let this aerate for like a couple days. So it is day 3, and the microbes have multiplied. All that little bubbly frothiness is exactly what we want. It means that the microbes have been feeding on that sugar source. And then that's how you get a really great brewed worm tea full of beneficial microbes for your garden. So I still have all of these worm castings left, so I'm going to continue to dilute them in a quick tea, and I'm going to water my whole garden with this. I'm going to put some of these next to my tomatoes and my squashes and my other really heavy feeders, and I think they're going to really love it. Like, worm castings are so incredibly beneficial for your plants that if you don't have a vermicomposting worm bin, now you know how to make one. Now you know how to make the tea, the quick tea and the brewed tea, and I hope I've inspired you to start a worm bin at your house. You can put it anywhere inside your place. It's really inconspicuous in a Rubbermaid container like that. And yeah, I hope I inspired you guys to do that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.